All right. So time for our hot tag, and that this week is Saturday night's main event from WWE. And it was a pretty good show. So let's get right into it. We kicked it off with Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. I figured this would be the kickoff match because there is the only one that doesn't involve some kind of title. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, we have I think it's the only one that doesn't have a title. Yes. So it was a really good match. Before that, though, we had our typical. They went back and had an '80s intro, like the old school Saturday Night Main Event intro, and then they flipped it over into kind of the same thing but with the new footage. Um, I can't remember what the name of the song is, but it's like an easily recognizable. Everybody knows this '80s banger, even if they don't know the name of it, type thing. We open to the scene. They're introducing Jesse Ventura. He's wearing the stupid cap and sunglasses and huge feather boa and snakeskin jacket because, of course, he is. It's amazing. He plays up heel all night long. He's still fantastic at it at like 100,000 years old. So, he is basically a dinosaur at this point, but he still sounds just like he did back then. So, I mean, when they're not showing him on screen, it totally puts you right back there. Red, white, and blue ropes, old school WWE without the F logo, the gold bars
Yeah.
everywhere, red, white, and blue everything. Um, Referees are wearing the long sleeve blue button ups with the bow ties. Like they really took it back, including Charles Robinson calling like two of the matches.
Huh.
So freaking awesome. And he still looks like he did then, except he's got a little gray at the edges. Lucky bastard at 60 barely has any gray. So,
Right.
um, anyway, we kick it off with Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. It was a really brutal match. Like McIntyre basically spent the whole match beating up on Zayn, and Zayn spent the whole match persevering and giving it back to him. Um, McIntyre dodged the haluva kick. And then when he after he dodged that, he got back in the ring and hit Zayn with the claymore, and that was the end. So it was about 10 minutes. It wasn't very long, but it was a good way. The crowd it was pretty brutal. Um, McIntyre got the win, but the crowd was hot for it. Um, okay, here's we're gonna get pretty quickly to what I didn't like about this show. Um,
Okay.
Jesse Ventura took a shot at Dusty Rhodes by saying Cody wasn't his son because Cody has a six pack abs and Dusty Rhodes just had mini abs, which is a really terrible fat joke. And when he said it, the crowd could hear him and they didn't appreciate it either.
Mm.
Whatever they were shooting for there, it didn't land. Other than that, Ventura was class all night long and he was a great heel commentator, but this did not land. It didn't work. Yeah, y'all should have ran this by somebody before you said, okay, do it. Um, Other than that, I mean, there wasn't a lot I didn't like about this show. Um, Nothing really surprised me though. We'll say that up front.
Yeah.
Then we had Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. It was a really great match. Probably about another 10 minutes, about the same as the Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre match. Um, Io went for the over the moon salt, and Liv, instead of putting her knees up, put her feet straight up. And the angle that Io landed at was perfect to the point where she basically landed jaw first on Liv's feet and then flipped backwards a couple more times into the other side of
I've
the
seen
ring.
that kind of thing before. It's very difficult to pull off. You have to be very athletic in order to
Mhm.
pull that off. And guess what? Io Sky is very athletic.
Yeah. So she got her feet up for that and then delivered the Oblivion, scored the victory. As she's walking out, Rhea Ripley shows up and they do the same stare down that her and Io did on SmackDown over over the women's title with Liv and Rhea. And I'm like I'm ready for the Liv thing to be over because
Yeah.
I'm ready for the Judgment Day thing to be over. And I think the only way for the Judgment Day thing to be over is for them to not have any titles.
Yeah.
Any titles. That means the women's ones too. Like any titles. Um, it was all right. Match was pretty good itself.
Yeah.
I didn't care for the angle afterwards because it really wasn't much. They just stared each other down. Where like Rhea Ripley wants to kill Liv basically. So how did she get within arm's reach of her and not?
Right.
Doesn't make
Seriously.
sense. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Um, then we had the triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship with Gunther, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest. Um, it was really good. It fell victim a lot to the one guy being out at all times thing, though. But individually, all the little sections were good. Um, I don't feel like this feud is where Gunther needs to be, and so I'm glad that Gunther picked up the W here. I think he needs to be doing something else. Um, I'm not sure exactly what, but the Priest Balor thing, I mean, it's been going on forever. Like they planted the seeds of it in Judgment Day, and it lasted for so long until it finally, came to a head. And it still feels like they haven't gotten rid of each other. So please separate Finn Balor and Damian Priest from the World Heavyweight Championship and let them finish this shit out while we
Yeah.
go have another World Heavyweight Championship feud that's going to be good. Like with Drew McIntyre or somebody. I don't know. The match was really good. All the matches on this show are really good. It's just some of the implications going into or coming out of them that I'm just like, you know. In this case, it was going into them. I
Yeah.
didn't care for a triple threat in the first place. I knew Finn Balor wasn't going to win, unfortunately, and but I want him to because if he wins the title, that just reinforces Judgment Day. So I don't want him
Yeah.
to.
At least not
um,
until
yeah, not
the
until that's
Judgment
done.
Day is done. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we had the Women's United States Championship match with Michin and Chelsea Green. This was a banger. This was probably the best match on the card.
Yeah.
A lot of
Good.
people might, I don't know, people might think differently than me, but I don't know. This was the best match on the card. They're both solid workers. Michin, showing off her skill. Chelsea showing off her ability to get her ass whooped for a long time and still, pull off some really good offense. They go up on the top rope, and Chelsea, it looked like Michin was going for like a superplex. And Chelsea, like, sunset flipped over her into an unprettier off the top, and that's how she won. Like,
What?
man, yeah. Like, if you see anything from this show, go watch this match because it's the best one. But that finish was fucking wild, man. She just like flipped over her and took her straight down. And Chelsea Green is the very first women's United States champion.
Good for
And
her.
honestly, I'm super like entertained by her every time she's on screen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. She's
because
awesome.
she plays like this prissy, bitchy girl that I don't like, but then she's also willing to like take the dumpster dives and stuff like that to give us the comeuppance that we want her to get. Like
Yeah.
she entertains me, and so I'm super happy about this. The only thing that I think they missed out on is that while she's celebrating, Piper came over and picked her up on her shoulder. And she was like celebrating and stuff. This would have been a perfect opportunity for Piper to drop her like they did to Orton
Yeah.
and be her first like feud for the US championship. Like this would have been a perfect time for that, and I think it's a missed opportunity. Especially because
Mm.
I feel like Piper works best when she's just a mean ass heel, and I think Chelsea's over enough that she could be the face in that feud. So,
I mean, it's the curse of the modern smart audience, right?
mhm.
Like it doesn't matter who the heel is. If they entertain you enough, eventually, regardless of what plans are, the crowd will turn them babyface. Like it's I mean, for goodness sake, like it happened with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, do you think that he was originally slated to be a babyface going into his match with Bret Hart in Survivor Series?
Oh, hell no.
No. But that smart crowd at Madison Square Garden still gave him about a 50-50 reception, and it only grew from there,
No.
you know?
Um, so a couple of things about this, but because I really did like it and I really appreciated a lot of different things about this match. And first of all, let's go with Chelsea Green, okay,
Yeah.
who not only do I think she deserved this, just based on what I've seen of her, coming back watching, catching up and then watching regularly for this podcast, but um, she paid like full tribute to her husband,
Yeah.
because her gear had her face all over it. She had white gear and
Yeah.
it was just like copy pasted of her face all over her gear. And her tights were one leg, one full leg, one trunk
Oh,
half.
like ECW version of Zack Ryder.
Yeah, like she totally had the Zack Ryder tights on. So I was like into that. Oh, and she did a Rough Rider like in the middle of the match. And it was pretty. It was a good one too. She wasn't just like doing her husband's move and it looked like shit. No, she had a really good Rough Rider right in the middle of the match. Like it was okay. On top of that, Michael Cole with the super awesome wrestling brain recall. Because
Yeah.
I know we see him on Botchamania pretty frequently for making a recall and then it's not right. Like
Mhm.
saying that Humberto had never fought for a singles title in WWE before like 2 weeks ago when he has had like 17 singles title matches or something like that.
Mhm.
But in this case, he said, and was correct, Chelsea Green made her TNA wrestling debut and a loss to Michin. So
Oh,
full circle back, getting that win back
that's pretty
to
cool.
win the women. And here's another crazy thing. Chelsea Green's a heel, and we got "Let's Go Chelsea" chants.
See?
I
See?
mean,
If
it's a I
somebody
can't root against Michin though. I like her so much,
I mean
but
if I was watching this match, I would have trouble rooting for one over the other,
mhm.
personally.
I
Chelsea Green,
did.
I've seen her work. She's hilarious. I love her. I love I think Michin has been just criminally overlooked by WWE
Hmm.
since her days in NXT. Like
Yeah,
I she's one of the best workers in the whole division, and only now is she really getting a little bit of shine. So like
yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't be able if I were in your shoes to really root against either one of them either. Honestly.
Yeah. I had a hard time rooting against either one of them. I wanted both of them to win. I thought the match was freaking great. It really was. Like honestly, even after I talk about the next match, this is the match of the night right here. Match of the night, point of the night, all the little throwbacks, all the little details that went into this match to make it what it was, from Michael Cole to gear choices to everything. Just this is the epitome of what Saturday
I
Night's main
love
event is
those
supposed to be
Easter
about.
eggs. I
Yeah,
love those Easter eggs. It makes you feel good for investing
yeah.
in a
Like
wrestler,
I
a
know what
performer,
that
a
is because
character.
I invested my time in this.
Yeah.
I
And
loved it.
you're rewarded for doing so. I don't think there are too many other mediums in which you get rewarded as often as you do in wrestling. Because even when WWE doesn't want to acknowledge it, the wrestlers will often in their matches do whatever they want,
Hmm.
to get that point across, you know.
Yeah.
So it may not be, lampshaded by commentary, but it will be the wrestlers are like, okay, these are for the hardcore guys. These are for the sickos. You know?
Right. So, I didn't talk about this before because it was really short, like 3 minutes long and inconsequential to the entire show on SmackDown Friday night.
Okay.
But they had like a face to face with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, and Kevin Owens didn't come up to the ring. He answered like from his car, but you could see obviously that his car was in the back of the arena. Like there were exit signs
Yeah,
and people walking around with headsets on and
yeah.
stuff. Like you could see he was obvious. So Cody Rhodes went looking for him, and Kevin Owens came out to whoop his ass, and that's how the show ended. I say that only because Kevin Owens came out and was whooping Cody's ass wearing a Stardust shirt. I say
Little
that to
details.
say this. Kevin Owens' gear for Saturday night's main event was the old Dusty son of a plumber shirt, but he pasted his face over Dusty's. So it was Kevin Owens' face on the Dusty son of a plumber shirt. Kevin Owens is the best t-shirt
Oh,
troll in the fucking world.
so
Okay,
he's
period.
so good. I love
Um,
Kevin Owens.
Before I get into the match, also because it didn't really come up in the rest of the match, because there's stuff that happened after the show that we'll talk about in a little bit. But um, Cody came to the ring, and the special gift that Triple H had given him in the little Pulp Fiction type scene was, in fact, the Winged Eagle belt. And
Yeah,
yes, I did, in fact, mark the fuck out. However, I don't think it was the original Winged Eagle belt.
I don't think so either. I looked at
I think it was a bigger
pictures of it
version.
online. It looked a little bit bigger, and it definitely had the alternate logo on it.
Yeah. The reason I don't think it was the original, besides that, I think the original Winged Eagle belt was probably gifted to someone at some point.
I mean, I
So
mean the
they
way
probably
they
don't even
always do
have
it.
it.
The
But
way they
this is,
always do it is the first time you win a championship, you
yeah,
get to keep
that
that
belt.
belt, and then they
Yeah.
just make a new one
Hmm.
so that you can have it in your trophy case and blah blah blah. So like they have, I mean, there are many different
Oh, I'm
actual
sure
quote
Bret Hart has like
unquote.
six of them or something,
I don't
but
know if they give them repeats. I know that for the first time you win it, they give you the
yeah.
belt.
But yeah, it was the Winged Eagle. It wasn't the old Winged Eagle belt, but it was
Yeah, it was a little
enough
bit
of
bigger.
it. It was
It
enough
was
of
so
it that I was
good,
like, fuck yes. It
so
looked
good.
beautiful. I like
Mm,
it so much better than the big logo belt. And
yes,
it may even come into play in the future beyond this point. I think the response to it was big enough that they might keep using it, but also we'll talk about this a little bit.
yeah. I mean, I
So
was
the Matt,
talking on Blue Sky about it, and like, it is dumb that they call it the winged eagle belt because all eagles have wings. It's dumb,
yeah.
but in my opinion, I don't think there's ever been a better world title belt in existence. I know
Well,
a lot of people love the big gold belt. I respect it. I don't agree,
mhm,
but like, that was the world title of my childhood. That was the one Brett wore. That was the one Sean wore. That
yeah,
was the one Savage wore. Like
yeah.
that was my childhood world title belt. So for
Uh,
me to see that they brought it back, even if it's just for one night, that's
mhm.
dope. I love that. That's
Now,
fantastic.
just a small wrestling history. I think they call it the Winged Eagle belt because either the belt before or two belts before their WWE Championship belt had a eagle on it, but did not have protruding wings. So
Oh,
that's why they called it the Winged Eagle, I think.
I know the one after that was the Big Eagle
The
belt.
Big Eagle, yeah.
The Big Eagle, the Attitude
Um,
Era
I
WWE
call
title
that one
belt.
the Globe, the Globe, because it was
Yeah.
just a big round
And that's
plate.
also a very good design for
I
the
like
record.
that one too.
It's not my
Yeah.
favorite, but it's also very good. I like the Undisputed one too.
Hmm.
The original Undisputed title belt looking, that was a good look. I like that too.
Right.
And then ever since then, it's just been downhill.
So Kevin Owens attacked before the bell, and they kicked it off, and they got brutal real fast. Basically just kicked each other's ass. I mean, there wasn't a lot of technical wrestling to write home about in this. It was a lot of brawling, but we know what Kevin Owens is, and what he does, and
Yeah.
and he did what he does here. Um, I haven't made it any secret that I wanted Kevin Owens to win this match because I think the Cody title run has been good, but I think it's time for him to go back to chasing the title from a heel. So I
Mm.
wanted Kevin to win this match. Surprise, surprise, as always, other than the women's US championship having an owner now, there are no title changes on this show. So
Yeah.
but Kevin Owens introduced at some point, Kevin Owens like got Charles Robinson distracted and introduced a steel chair to the equation. While Charles Robinson was distracted, Cody Rhodes cross-roped him onto that chair and then slid the chair out of the ring, and that's
Mm.
how he picks up the win. So this match was really great, but the finish was odd with Cody using a chair and then sliding it out like a heel, and I mean I get
I
that
mean,
Kevin brought
yeah,
it in and he uses what he's got, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of odd
yeah.
for as
The
brutal as the rest of
unwritten
the match
rule,
was.
the unwritten rule of wrestling regarding this is that cheating to counteract cheating is fair game,
Yeah.
and in
It
fact
cancels
is
out, man.
moral. It is seen as moral, in fact, because
Yeah.
it's just as self-defense at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would understand. I probably my guess they did it that way in order to justify a rematch,
Mhm.
but I know that there was a
I think we'll
post-match
probably
angle,
get a
right?
rematch. So
Yeah.
after the show goes off the air, because I'm all over social media, so I saw this. After the show goes off the air, Owens returns to the ring, delivers Cody a package pile driver, which leaves him laying, out
They
laying.
actually
Cody,
did it.
yeah, Cody sold
Oh,
it like Orton sold it. So Cody's out, and Kevin Owens walks away with the Winged Eagle belt.
well, I
So
mean, he was only supposed to have it for that night anyway. So
as of later tonight, as the show is posted, or tomorrow as we record this, Kevin Owens, Triple H said the Winged Eagle belt was a one-time only thing, but now Kevin Owens has possession of it and believes that he should be the world heavyweight champion. So we will see where we go, but I don't think Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes is over. I also want to see if they're because like Orton's been gone for 4 weeks now
yeah.
for this pile driver that Kevin Owens gave him. Cody got arguably a worse version of said pile driver. So let's see, is he going to show up on Raw tomorrow? Logic would dictate no, that Kevin Owens will show up with his Winged Eagle belt that he does not actually own, but that Cody Rhodes will not show up. So we will see how they go. WWE could have booked themselves into a corner here a little bit. And I'm interested to see how they get out of this bit of a corner that they put themselves in because now they've delivered a stretcher move to the only two people that they have built in any way, shape, or form to be able to take out Kevin Owens. And they built Kevin Owens up as a pure brawling psychopath. So who
So
does
what you
not
do?
believe he is in the wrong at all.
So what you do is you give Cody a month off, and in that time you have Owens walk around and defend the belts that he stole against Orton, who's coming back. So that's your interim thing. Have him beat Orton through nefarious means or otherwise. I'd prefer it clean, but they'll probably go dirty because he's a heel. And then at the end of that match, have him. What they'll probably do is they'll have him threaten to pile drive Orton again, and then Cody will come out and make the save.
Watch that be
Just,
exactly how it goes down.
I
Um,
mean,
Not because they're
WWE
listening to us
is.
or anything.
I mean, it's not. It's not that. It's just that there's a certain way that WWE constructs their storylines. And to be fair, if I had started my wrestling fandom last year, probably wouldn't have made that same call. But I am almost 40 and have been watching wrestling for nearly all of that time. There ain't much I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter that I haven't watched WWE's product in a couple of years now. Fact of the matter is, I still know how they tell stories. It
Yeah.
hasn't changed that much, Triple H or no. So that would be what I would suspect would happen, and I'm okay with that because I mean, there's a reason you tell a story that way. It's because it makes sense and that it appeases an audience, and it continues to build on prior things that were set up in storyline, personal grudges. It sets up Kevin Owens to look more like a maniac and therefore a bigger monster when Cody topples him again. So, I mean, because let's be real here, Owens ain't winning the belt. It's not happening. Cody
Probably not.
here, Cody was never going to have any. title reign that was less than a year after coming off of being the guy who held at least a version of the belt for nearly four.
Yeah.
So like they can't have they can't make the same mistake with him that they did with Sami Zayn when he beat Gunther. Like they had
Hmm.
him have a 3 month title reign, they dropped it to the new guy. Really? Like
Yeah.
I understand the big deal about Braun Breaker, but like really? And
Yeah.
then that guy drops the belt a few weeks later to Jey Uso for 2 weeks and then wins it back. Like they've hot potato that crap so much. Like Gunther had a record breaking Intercontinental title reign, and now they've peed all over the Intercontinental title's worth now.
Yeah.
They don't want to make the same mistake with the world belt. They just don't. They shouldn't. And so if he's going to lose that belt, your best options, your best opportunities to do that are WrestleMania and SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Offside chance in next year's Survivor Series. I would imagine that he'll probably lose it to like The Rock at WrestleMania or some stupid crap like that.
Mhm. Um, so yeah, I
Because
mean,
who's going to stop? Who's going to stop The Rock? He's the guy. He's the guy on the board. You're going to say no to him?
hopefully somebody will. But I mean, okay, so we're gonna get a botchamania moment out of this match because Rhodes gave Owens an RKO on the announce table and it didn't move.
I
He
am the
bounced
table.
right off it. Oh my God, dude, it was so nasty. I was like, oh God, it didn't break. Um,
Must be one of
but
them Japanese tables.
yeah, so we're gonna get an I am the table moment for sure off that. Other than that, though, Saturday night's main event was really good. Like I said, I really liked the triple threat match, but that was what I liked the least about the show, and it's
Yeah.
just because I am just really worn out on Priest and Balor and that whole thing, man, and the Judgment
Isn't it,
Day.
isn't it
You know,
so sad when you can look at a feud that has two really, really talented guys that you like individually, and the creative just is not there to sustain your interest with
no,
them?
yeah,
Isn't
it's
that
just
just
not
this
either.
super disappointing?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Like it's messed up because like I like a lot of the parts of the Judgment Day individually. I've said that like many times, but I
Yeah.
just this whole thing, man, it's wearing me out. Like, can
It's
we
kind of weird to
please move
think
on
that
to
it
something
began
else?
as a gothic thing with like a new brood
Edge.
with Edge.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
is.
grown into something much, much different than that.
Oh, how they grew and then oh, how they fell.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, Saturday night's main event was good. Yeah, all the AEW stuff was good this week. All the WWE regular weekly programs were good this week. We again remain really well fed wrestling fans.
Yeah. We have
Um,
grievances, but they are small, really.
yeah,
That's
really
small potato
small.
stuff. It
So
really is in the grand
yeah,
scheme of things.
yeah. So I mean, with that, that only leaves one thing, and that's for us to call it in the ring like the pros do.